Season 1 of Squid Game introduces a down-on-his-luck chauffeur named Song Ji-hun, who is divorced, estranged from his daughter, and deeply in debt to some dangerous loan sharks. The man resorts to stealing money from his own mother to fuel his gambling addiction. At one of the lowest points in his life, Ji-hun is approached by a stranger who challenges him to a simple game of dokji for money. Piquing Ji-hun's interest, the man offers him a chance to win a lot more money by playing games with much higher stakes. Desperate, Ji-hun agrees, leading to him being drugged and waking up in a massive living space with 455 other people. This large group of strangers all wear green tracksuits and are identified by their own unique numbers, with Ji-hun being labeled as player 456. Ji-hun and his fellow players realize they're all trapped in an unknown location, protected by masked guards in pink jumpsuits, and will be competing in a series of 6 games over 6 days for the chance to win several billion won. As the players prepare for their first game, Ji-hun discovers that his childhood friend, Cho Sang-woo, is a fellow player, dubbed Player 218, who is also participating in the games. The pair befriend the elderly player 01, Nam, and they all agree to assist each other through the upcoming games. Ji-hun also recognizes player 067, Kong Sae Bark, who recently pickpocketed the last money he had to his name. The players are then led to the first of 6 games, overseen by the mysterious, unmasked frontman. The game is a simple red light, green light, where the rules are to run from one end of the playing field to the other before time runs out, starting whenever a giant mechanical doll says green light and stopping whenever the doll says red light. This game proves deadly when the first player to break the rules is shot dead. This alarms all the other players, leading many to panic and flee, resulting in an all-out massacre that ends with over half of the contestants dead. The horrified Ji-hun and his allies survive the first game, now fully aware of the deadly stakes in store for them. With each player's death, more money is added to the overall prize pot. The contestants hold a majority vote to end the games, and the guards release everyone back to their homes, with no one receiving any money. Ji-hun attempts to alert the police about his experience, but no one believes his outlandish claims. No one. That is, except for Detective Hwang Junho, whose brother previously went missing after receiving a similar game invite. Despite the horrific dangers of the game, Ji-hun and most of the other players realize that winning the massive grand prize is the only solution to their life problems and willingly choose to re-enter the game. Sang-woo is on the verge of arrest for committing financial fraud. The elderly Nam wishes to die bravely instead of succumbing to his deteriorating health, and Sae Baek wants to help get her family out of North Korea. Detective Junho secretly infiltrates the games by posing as a guard and discovers that the competition is being played on a remote island. While observing the guards behind the scenes, he discovers they are harvesting the organs of deceased players and selling them on the black market. Junho also learns that these deadly games have been played for over 30 years and that, despite his brother's continued disappearance, Junho's brother, In-ho, was actually a previous winner. As foreign VIPs arrive on the island to place wagers on the games, Junho secretly attacks one of them and records a confession of all the deadly and illegal activities occurring on the island. As Junho flees with the evidence, he is caught by the front man, who removes his mask to reveal that he is, in fact, In-ho. In-ho attempts to recruit his brother to help oversee the games. The shocked and betrayed Junho refuses, leading In-ho to shoot Junho, knocking him off the edge of a cliff and into the ocean. Back in the games, and better prepared for the dangers ahead, Ji-hun, Sang-woo, and Nam align with Sae Baek and player 199, Oli, a Pakistani immigrant who has faced immense prejudice in his normal life. The second game requires every player to pick between a circle, star, triangle, or umbrella. After making their selection, they are forced to cut out their chosen shape from a fragile cookie. Unfortunately, Ji-hun accidentally chooses the umbrella, by far the most difficult shape. Despite this, Ji-hun successfully completes the task alongside all of his allies. Following the second game, the antagonistic player 101, Jang Deoksu, kills another player after accusing him of eating more than his allotted food rations. The guards do nothing to intervene, with the only result being more money added to the final prize pot. Realizing he can simply kill the other contestants to make his position in the games easier, Deoksu forms an alliance of like-minded players, including player 212, Hon Minayo. Together, they stage a riot. Jihan and his newfound friends band together to survive the deadly nights and make it to Game 3. The third game is Tug of War, forcing players to form teams of 10 to face off against each other. Deoksu betrays his loyal ally, Minayo, by abandoning her to instead form a team exclusively of stronger men. Minayo joins a team with Jihan and his allies. Despite having a seemingly weaker team, the elderly Aelnom helps his allies win their matchup by implementing a clever strategy. Game 4 begins with players being forced to choose a partner. Jihan pairs up with Aelnom, while Sangwoo pairs up with Oli. Unfortunately, the players are all then handed a bag full of marbles and told that, to win the game, they must somehow have all of their partner's marbles in their possession by the end of the timer. Whoever loses dies. Jihan and his allies are devastated that they are now forced to compete against each other, while Sae is traumatized over having to essentially sentence someone to death to win the game. Sangwoo coldly tricks his friend Oli into giving him his marbles. Meanwhile, Jihan takes advantage of Aelnam's dementia to trick him and win his marbles. As the timer runs out and Jihan is declared the winner, Aelnom confesses that he allowed Jihan to win, as they are Gonbu trusted friends. Jihan leaves the game distraught over his actions and the death of Aelnom. In the fifth game, only 16 players remain, including Jihan, Sangwoo, Sae, Deoksu, and Minayo. The next game is Glass Stepping Stones, where contestants must cross a bridge made of glass panels, some of which can support their weight and others that will shatter, causing the player to fall to their death. The players are randomly assigned the order in which they must cross the bridge. After seeing countless players in front of him fall to their deaths, Deoksu refuses to advance, ordering others to pass him and risk their own lives. Still bitter over being abandoned by Deoksu, Minayo sacrifices herself by grabbing onto him and causing them both to fall to their deaths. With time running out, Sangwoo coldly sacrifices another player to reveal the correct path, allowing him to safely complete the bridge alongside Jihan and Sae. Jihan now realizes that Sangwoo is willing to do anything to survive, even if it means turning on his allies. Unfortunately, Jihan cannot prevent Sangwoo from murdering Sae, leaving only him and Sangwoo as the final two players. The last game is the titular SQUID game, which Jihan and Sangwoo played as children. Ultimately, Jihan defeats Sangwoo but refuses to kill him, instead begging for them both to forfeit the money and leave alive. However, Sangwoo refuses this offer, sacrificing himself to allow Jihan to win the prize money. Jihan returns home to find his mother has died in his absence. 1 year later, although wealthy, Jihan remains deeply traumatized and refuses to spend his winnings. Jihan is invited to meet with Aelnom, who shockingly survived the games. On his deathbed, Aelnom reveals that he created the games to entertain bored, wealthy elites like himself. Aelnom offers Jihan one last wager based on human decency. Jihan wins the wager and watches Aelnom pass away. With his faith in humanity restored, Jihan rescues Sae orphan brother, placing him in Sangwoo's mother's care. As Jihan prepares to visit his estranged daughter, he witnesses a stranger being recruited for a new SQUID game. Determined to stop the deadly cycle, Jihan abandons his plans and chooses to infiltrate the next game.